Hello, everyone. It is Friday, July 2nd. How was everyone? Friday, let me hit I forgot the comments there. Hello, Michelle. How are you doing? Christopher, Donna Marion. How are you, Donna? Helena. Hey, Samantha Finch. How you doing? Bonnie Scott. How are you? Susan, how you doing? Nancy. Again, my old eyes. This is a smaller screen. This is the iPad screen.
So I gotta look at this.
I'm like squinting.
I
Hello,
can't
Carmen.
see that.
Susan, how are you? Barbara.
Hey,
Barbara, long
Barbara.
time no see. How you been? Linda. Hello. So, Friday night, us two old timers, nothing to do, so we're gonna go live. Hey, Anna. Arlene, Marie, how are you? So I see a lot of you are watching, so you're like us, nothing to do on a Friday night for the 4th of July. So here we are, together again. Happy early 4th to you. Ara, my friend, how are you? Long time no speak. We got to talk, Ara. Charlene, how you doing? So, busy week this week. We we didn't get a chance to just kind of wrap up and talk about the things that we did. Fix my hair here. Monday we did the dream interpretation with Jefferson Harmon again, which kudos to all of you out there, the 3 or 4 of you who participated. Thank you so much for doing that. If you didn't watch it, go back and watch it. It was another great session. Jefferson is amazing. I highly recommend if you want to get a dream interpreted, definitely reach out to Jefferson on his page, Jefferson Harmon. Again, he did it again. It was, we didn't have enough dreams initially, and then we went on and we reached out and we asked people to submit theirs, and we got some good ones. And people were very, very honest, very, very open, and we appreciated it a lot because
it's hard to do.
Yeah, sharing that stuff is, some dreams are just downright, personal and just insightful into stuff that people are going through. And, again, if you shared, if you're a part of that, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it. We will be doing it again, I'm sure, down the road, probably, month or two, try to mix that up a little bit to not, put too much of a burden onto Harmon. He's doing his own stuff, and he'll be at the expo as well in September doing live readings. So that'll be cool. And he was a hell of a find, Jefferson. He was, again, I didn't know when I reached out to him about doing the process until I spoke with him on the phone, in the pre-interview. And while we were talking, he just seemed like he was just so much of a natural. And he was, just like, just even when we were talking, he's like, this is how I do it. This is what I get. This is how long it takes. And I said, let's try it. Would you be willing to try it live? And as soon as he said, yeah, to trying it live, that speaks volumes to a person and their confidence and their ability, because doing it live in front of people, and I could speak to that. We do these events in front of people. We speak in front of people all the time. It's not easy to just get up and do what you do, in front of people and then wait for the reaction, because you just don't know how people are going to react, or you don't know if you're going to hit like he does, just bam, bam, bam,
And it's also like too, like when people are giving him the dreams and like he's reaching out and he's asking these questions, he's like, no, there's something more. Like he knows when someone's not giving everything that he needs to make that connection, and that's because he does it all intuitively.
Yeah,
which is
he's awesome.
Yeah,
again, and I can't thank the people enough that have participated in all 3 sessions for being part of this, because without them, it really is just an interview. And although he'd be great to talk to, his demonstrating his ability is definitely great to witness. For me, every single time, I get a kick out of it, And then Wednesday, we went to the Creeper Gallery, the 4 of us together, Wednesday night. We got lucky because it rained, so it kind of scattered the locals, for a long enough period of time to where we could do what we do. And Yeah, it was a fun night. Again, the Creeper Gallery and those haunted objects. If you don't know, the Creeper Gallery is in New Hope, Pennsylvania, owned by the very famous Donna Marion. Her artwork is in the front, along with Madame
Claire.
Clara. That's all in the front of the store, and the haunted objects are impressive, but her artwork is amazing. But the haunted objects are in the Red Room, and we go in there once a week or every other week, and there's always something new in there. That's the good thing about what Donna has and what she does, and we're able to. It's like twofold for us. It's not only do we get to, it's part research, part investigative, part spirit communication, and we get to experiment. That's where you see a lot of our new gadgets kind of roll out in the Creeper Gallery, because that's a good place to test them. We have a pretty good idea that there's spirits around listening, capable of interacting, and now we bring in the new gadget, or we try a new technique just to see. Yeah. Is it viable? Is it something that could work in different places? And we usually have pretty good luck in testing to see if things will work. We rolled out the string of lights, and
that was crazy.
Yeah, to me, again, I like proving to people that that it's not just a bunch of randomness, and I do that a lot when I'm holding the phone or the tablet, and an SLS figure appears. I'll show people, and then I'll keep panning to show them that nothing is there while stuff is going on, and when it is there, I'll mention the fact this is the first one, the only time tonight, and if it was just a random scanning and whatever, that thing would be there all the time. If it's just mapping what you think it is, that one piece of furniture or an object, it would have been doing it the whole time.
Yeah.
It's not going to come and go. It's going to be there. Lorraine, no, thank you for participating. You're one of the people that we were talking about that was, very forthright and open and honest, and made that session as good as it was, because, again, we appreciate, we try to be as open and honest as we can, and you can't expect that from people
who
it's watch,
a hard thing to do.
Yeah, just
it's public, it's not private, so we get that.
We appreciate it. So the Creeper Gallery, we tried my new Spirit Box filter. We also tried the string of lights. We have some other stuff that we want to try later on, but again, that's a good lab, because we get in there, we have our new toys, and we have that area, and it's a controlled environment, and we just see what happens. You know what I mean? We never know what's going to work and what's not going to work. We did the eggs the first time there, and they worked great. Proximity sensors, same thing.
Yeah.
We're able to test these things and see real time what's going on. So we did 3 items, and we went through them pretty quick this time, because when we do them, when we're there together, if we're getting interaction initially and there's enough of it, I kind of like this. Okay, great. It's, hey, Gina, how are you? Gina, you're doing an awesome job on that house. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it does.
So we try to go in there. We pick 3 different items. We try to pick 3 kind of different items. We don't, me right away, I'm like, what's the darkest thing in here? Let's pick a bad one.
I know.
Let's pick a bad one. And, we're going through that, and, Chris saw the picture of the gypsy, which we never paid attention to before for whatever reason.
I said, we got to do this one.
Read the card, and I was like, ooh, dark, thing, whatever. I'm like, that can work. And the Shaw, whatever, the morning cape was another one. Supposedly, if you put it on, there's a darkness or whatever. Of course, we were going to put it on and test that to see if it happens to us. And the books, friends of ours, Lindsay, who follows our page and is a good friend and has come to our events, she's thinking of purchasing them. So that was on our list of things to do, just to for her, you know, to see if everything was safe and if there was anything there. And we, you know, we go one by one. And that gypsy picture, John Shea, oh, that's our partner? Yeah, right, John Shea. The gypsy picture was one of those vibe things, you know what I mean? As soon as she picked it and I saw it, you know, a lot of times like my inner voice says, save that for last, because I was like a big finish, you know what I mean? I want the biggest thing to be the last thing and it to be like crazy. But sometimes it's the first thing. And that picture, what I loved about that was that you know, Tanya hit right away on the fact that, you know, as a gypsy, she's probably doing some form of spirit communication herself. So the idea of it wasn't foreign to her. She was probably saying to herself, "Oh, this is what they're doing."
You fools.
In a modern way, but this is what they're doing. You know what I mean? And which made that, you know, she met us more than halfway. So that makes it so much easier. And you saw the response. She basically was messing with everything there. And that was really, really
and
cool.
She was very highly intelligent. She called us foolish.
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty remarkable in itself. Like, you think this is spirit communication?
This is
fools.
child's play.
You have no idea. That was really, really cool. But the funny thing about the gypsy picture in the frame with her hair in that frame, because that was what I forgot what it was called, the tramp frame. But it when we went into the Creeper Gallery and it was in on the shelves, it literally sat back in the shadows, like you just saw the bottom half. And when I opened up the door and I looked and I was like, "Oh, John," and I pulled it up closer and I read it, and that's when it just like, yeah, it was almost like she was sitting there just waiting.
I don't know. I can't remember everything about that investigation. I don't remember a lot about what we do after we do it. I remember something about Croatia.
Well, that was something that she found out.
That was part of the investigation.
Yeah. We have no idea where she's from. Donica's the only one that can answer that one.
No, but she was saying during the investigation.
Oh, during the investigation. Yeah, Croatia came out because she talked about Romania. She talked about the different, but it said Croatia on the, I forget where it came through on. What did it come through on?
Maybe EVP. I don't remember. I said I kind of, they blend together in my mind, and I try to separate them. Even when we go in there to investigate, we don't do it live. We film it, and you know, Donna will ask me the next day, you know, what happened. And literally, I'm in the Creeper Gallery before we leave, and I'm texting myself, you know, the rubber foot, EVP, and I'm making notes, you know, so that I can tell her, because it'll be gone by the morning, you know. So that was a really interesting piece. Again, it's one of those ones where, you know, in my mind, I keep like a best of list, you know what I mean, of ones that I kind of remember for different reasons. And that one I remember, well, I will remember because of the idea of her being able to communicate and the interaction back and
usually
forth.
You only remember the dark stuff. Let's be honest.
That's what's in my head.
Those are the ones that click with you.
There's two good ones that I remember that were not dark. And that is the little boy's bones that Kelly has, because there was an instant connection. I was able to reach him really easy and go back and forth. And the other one was that family journal that you have.
Yeah,
where
I have
the
back
notes
over
back
there.
and forth between the family, because that just was very touching. It was her hair after death. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that explains a lot. So, you know, hey Sharon, how are you? I do keep, again, a running best of list in my head. Yeah, and if it's a top 5, they're all dark. But that's just me. So then we went to the books, and again, the reason we did the books is because, you know, again, a good friend of ours, Lindsay, was thinking of buying them, and Donna was asking us to investigate them, and they've been in there for a little while, and we saw them on the shelf. So we said, you know what? Again, let's just see what we got here. 2 old books, both about disasters, which is kind of, again, people collect different things for different reasons. You know,
What we do.
there are people that collect books about wars, people, books about dictators, you know what I mean? You know, different things, strategy,
It
you
was
know.
on the spirit box that it kept saying Titanic. That was cool.
So, you know, that was one where it took a little while to get anybody to kind of react and try to communicate even a little bit. But again, that's one of those weird instances of, is that person in print connected to the books, or does that person come around when you start talking about the books? And you know, when you start talking about the books and, you know, referencing him as the owner, is it sort of like a quote unquote channeling thing? Because it took a while. But again, that could have been because it was, you know, he was there and he was just like, what are these people doing now? You know, but it got a little bit from him. And that's one, again, if I had that in my house, I wouldn't be concerned at all. I would just kind of know that if I was handling the books and talking about them, there is a chance that he could be around listening and
again,
and he may be appreciative.
I'm going to go back to when we did Oscar. Oscar did not communicate with us at all the first time that we took him out. And then the next time we went back and we brought him out and we were doing what we were doing, he just like boom.
But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that the person who owns those, if Lindsay does buy them, there really is nothing.
I know you are, but there's nothing there. But what I'm saying is like that slow going, that start and everything. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get them going, to get comfortable with us to communicate. That's what I'm referring to. I know you're talking about something different, but
I know, never stopped you before from
it and it will never stop me.
Left when I'm going straight. So.
Hey,
let's
You're
see.
you,
They
I'm
find
me.
out they were
That's what
part
we
of the
do.
Titanic. We don't know. But again, there are people that just collect that stuff. I collect weird stuff. If I showed you a picture of my dresser, you'd be like, what the hell? You know, you might want to, you know, call the therapist on the telemedicine and get them, you know, to spend the day with me a couple of days in a row. I should do that. But that would be fun.
oh no.
What do you mean no?
No.
Why? Because you're afraid you can't entertain people for 2 minutes while you take a
No.
picture?
No, you stay here and you do your thing. I'll go take your picture.
Exactly.
Because we all know I'm going to say, you got to open that up so I can do it.
See, I would have been there and back already.
He's going to need a telemedic when I'm done with him.
Well, 2 minutes I asked you to entertain people. Can't do it.
Nope.
All right, so she's going to take a picture and show you what's inside this head and what I collect. I just like weird things. I always have from the time I was young. I'm a big comic book fan. Action figures. I collect a lot of weird action figures and little statues and stuff. And that's my entire dresser. Oh, here she is. Let me show you this. Camera. Oh, this photo. You didn't get that kind of picture.
Well, then let me go back and do it on the
Forget
sideline.
it. You ruined it. Forget it.
I knew you would
Anticlimactic.
you never,
I told
ever,
you I should
ever,
have went in
ever
there and do it
be,
myself, but
never, ever be
You ruined it.
satisfied with whatever I do.
she ruined it.
Yeah, I'm going to ruin you.
Yeah, she ruined it. She didn't get a good one. That's some of it. I don't know if you guys could see. There's only a little bit. A lot of weird stuff on that dresser though. But I like it. So anyway, then we moved on to the Shaw. And you know, again, that was one of those things where the card said sadness or darkness, you know, could be felt when you're wearing it. And you know, something we wanted to try because you know, when they put something like that that says, you know, you feel this or this happens, you got to kind of test it to see if it happens. So we're investigating that, and we were getting some good stuff out of it. I think that's the one where the figure was standing near Chris while she was trying to straighten out the shawl and make sure everything was on there. That figure was literally crouched next to her, almost like holding on to the cape, like kind of holding it. And that was weird. Again, another kind of first when you see those things.
And it touched me. That was freaky. To actually feel that ice cold, like I don't usually get that. Like, you know, I think that's usually Tanya or something. But to feel that, I told you guys that was ice cold on that side, and then all of a sudden you guys said it reached out and it touched my arm.
Yeah.
And I pinpointed exactly where I was being touched. That freaked me out a little bit.
But, you know, a lot of firsts when you're doing this, that's why I said I like doing what we do in the Creeper Gallery, because it is like a lab for us. We can experiment, and we see a lot of different things. And, you know, they even amaze me sometimes what we see sometimes. That crouching figure was just really, really bizarre, because the bizarre thing about it was that she moved it when she lifted up to put it on her and over her shoulders. The figure followed, stayed on the cape, and when she had it here, the figure was taller than she was. It was like 2 on 1. You were, you know, your height, but the figure was up here, and you could see the broad shoulders, and you could see the top of it. And it stayed with you, and it stayed on that cape for a while until it.
Oh, you definitely feel
away.
You feel an oppression with that cape. There's no two ifs about that. You feel that cape on you, and you just feel that. I don't know if that's a darkness or maybe the darkness comes from, but you feel a heaviness, and not just because the cape is heavy, but there's a heaviness, a sense to it that you know, there is a trauma there. I can't wait to see what she finds out about that itself. You know, but you could definitely connect to that. There's a trauma there. There's something there that is just so, I don't know. And then doing the, what do you call it? The essay? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, when you put the blindfold on.
Yeah, when the voice, a female voice came out, and I don't know what question you asked, but crying. A female said crying. And then at the very end, a male voice screamed in my ear, "Run!" I mean, it freaked me out. I know you think that's funny, but it wasn't funny to me. It scared the crap out of me.
It's part of the fun.
That's not fun. Yeah.
And, you know, the thing with objects is that, and, you know, not that I recommend everybody do this, because I don't. You do have to, even if it's for a short exposure, you do have to handle them. You do have to touch them, because that's part of the process. Hey, Kelly. Hey, Laura. That's part of the process. There are a lot of times where you can lay your hand on an object, and you're hoping for that transference of energy to where they can either use it to interact with the equipment, or where you could kind of feel something. You know what I mean? It's part of it. And sometimes that leads to not so good things, you know, where you get scratched, or you feel nauseous, or you get a pain somewhere, or I've gotten pains in my head that were like someone sticking a knife in my head, or in my gut, you know.
What was funny about that cape is that after I took it off and Tanya put it on, my shoulders and my neck hurt. I mean, sharp pain hurt. But as soon as Tanya took it off and we put it back on the hanger, gone. No ill effects whatsoever. It wasn't until she took it off and put it back on the hanger that pain was gone. No ill effects. How bizarre is that?
Yeah, that's what
Not that I took it off and I felt better. I took it off and then started to hurt when she had it on. And then she said the back of her neck was hot, like she could feel heat.
Yeah.
How bizarre is that?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And she had the headphones on. She didn't know my shoulders were hurting.
That's what I'm talking about. You know, every time I handle an object, especially one-on-one when we've gotten things going and we've made a connection,
yeah,
I I take a little breath and I go, okay, here we go. To see like what's going to happen here. What am I going to feel? And there's a little part of my brain that goes, okay, this might not be a good idea because you are opening yourself up. Now you've, for lack of a better explanation, you've kind of opened up the portal a little bit, or the channel, if you want to call it, and you've kind of satisfied that there is something there. There's some kind of back and forth, even if it's a little bit. There's where certain things are lighting up or whatever. You know that there's something going on. Now you're really inviting. Here it is. I'm holding it. Here's my energy.
And you don't know what
Here
you're
I
asking
am.
for.
Yeah, you don't know.
Oh,
There's a firework.
sugar.
See, this is a ghost hunter. Even a firework, she's reacting like she did with the headphones on. What do you do something? No, Kelly is officially gone insane, people, because she has upside down crosses in her, I guess, her room. So yeah, you think I'm nuts. I just have strange little things on my dresser. Even I know not to do the upside cross thing. I wouldn't tempt.
Even though he doesn't believe in demons, he still won't tempt it.
Hell no.
Yeah, and I just won't tempt it either.
Especially when you were alone. Yeah, I was, believe me, I was very aware of the fact that I was alone, and that if something happened, that it wouldn't be good. I mean, it'd be good for you guys. You guys were watching. But I was aware that if I had been affected like I had some other times, that I would be kind of in a bad spot. Even and I mentioned this before, even driving home, I was worried that if I was affected, I was going to be driving home alone at night with, not being right, which was a concern. You have to do it.
I'm in North Carolina, so far away from him, and he does stuff like that. And he doesn't even take a break when he got affected. Took you a while to come down from that too, didn't it?
What?
When you got affected.
Oh yeah. That was 3-4 days. That was weird.
You were off.
Definitely weird. I understand when I used to always joke about these shows when when Zach would, when I thought Zach was pretending to be, something affecting him, or Nick Roth would always do it in the show. You don't really see other people doing it that much. They would do it a lot. And I would always say to myself, like, yeah, whatever. Because, like, Zach is famous for doing this. He'll be in a building and all of a sudden, he'll get quiet and he'll start yelling at Jay or Billy, and he'll push them, or Aaron.
Wow.
And, like, that's a little over the top. But, yeah, when it happens, it's gradual. It's usually.
You've yelled at me.
Huh?
You've yelled at me. You were.
Here we go.
No, when we were in the Creeper Gallery, and you were
yelling it out.
When we were in the Creeper Gallery and you were messing with that Ouija board, your demeanor, and you could definitely tell you had your anger and everything. And everybody watched it; they were witness to it. Don't be shaking your head like that. That's not funny. It's fact.
Funny, not fact, people. Funny, not funny.
Fact.
Get that on your T-shirts, people.
I should leave him alone.
New Jersey Paranormal. Not funny.
He's also in one of those moods where I'm gonna have to definitely hurt him. But you did.
I'm gonna hurt him. That was threatening.
Me. You.
Thank you. It's the hat.
It's not the hat. It's you. But it was definitely you being affected because you weren't like that before. Your whole demeanor, everything changed, and you just got. It was so slow, and you didn't even realize you were doing it. You had no clue how all of a sudden how your demeanor just changed on a dime, and you were brutal. And then after we left, it all changed again.
You probably did something angry me. In all fairness,
I'm going to. I'm going to real soon.
I think. I mean, it was the same thing where we were investigating the basement of the theater in Rahway.
Yeah.
The Union County Performing Arts Center. That's a mouthful. I was trying to remember it. But we were in the basement, and literally from the minute we walked in there, we started fighting and argue with each other. It was just snipping, back and forth. And it was just that one area. We were up top in the catwalk. We were up in the projector area. We were on the stage. Nothing.
Oh,
We got in that basement, and they say there's something in there, especially in the back hallway
so
there.
like going down there.
And there's tons of EMF down there, off the chart EMF. I mean, there's the old generators, the wiring isn't so great down there. It is energy on tap for spirits down there, and you feel it. And EMF can affect you.
Yep.
You know, when you're subjected that long to that much, it can mess with you a little bit and make you nauseous and ornery. You know, so you know,
It was him and I. It was Tanya and Kenny.
yeah.
It was just like, and when we left, it all just dropped away. So you knew. That's when you know. Okay, you know when you're unhappy with each other and you're just an off day. Everybody has that, but it's a whole different feeling when you're in that and that's coming off, and all four of us are in that. It was really bizarre. And the funny thing is that I think it was you who said, "Hold on a minute, this isn't us. What the hell's happening?"
Yeah, there's been many times where that's kind of happened where we're, you know, you guys don't get to see the before stuff, so there's a little bit of a back and forth in buildings over certain things or certain situations, and we, you know, go through, we do what we do, and then afterwards we're hanging out, we're laughing outside, and everything is fine, and the place may contribute to that. You know what I mean? There are some buildings and some things have
an effect.
Not just an effect, they have emotions attached to them. You know, and like I said, Armand did a really good job of describing, you know, what that is and how it works, in that, you know, some places and objects have been subjected to so many different forms of emotion and angst and happiness and you know, whatever, that, you know, sometimes it gets trapped in the bubble. You know what I mean? And people believe, and we talked about this before, John Zaffis, we were talking about it, like Amityville and other buildings. People believe that sometimes energy, negative, whatever, can kind of lay in wait. And it's just waiting for the right person to connect with on that frequency or
like
that vibration to, now I've got the scenario that I need. That's the person. Ba-boom. Here we go.
What I liked about that discussion, because you and I have had many, many discussions on this, where you would say, how is it that 10 people, 6 people could be in a house and only one person have an experience? I don't believe it. And he said it could be 20 people could be and one person be, because it isolates you. But I like that. And you've learned that over time, but you did have a hard time with it in the beginning. Like, how is that possible? Completely. Why are you smirking? I don't understand you. I don't. But I like when there's certain things that come out with having discussions that kind of, because that would be an assumption you would make. It would be logical. How could only one person have an experience or be affected or be a trigger, so to speak? Why wouldn't it be the collective? Which would make sense.
Yeah. Thank you. It's the same with objects as well. I think, you know, trying different people, different things, you know, and the objects where we haven't had as much interaction is either because, you know, A, maybe there really is nothing there, or B, there's not the right connection made between the object and who's ever around at the time. You know what I mean? And again, this goes back to when we're in a building and we're doing public ghost hunts, you know, we have a variety of people, older, younger, men, women, different races, different cultures, different beliefs. And what we do is we experiment using them. And that's no lie. That's what we do. When you're with us and we're in these buildings, we've been in there. We know what the interaction is between us and quote unquote them.
Yeah.
We don't know what the interaction is between you and them. And it may be completely different based on the individual and that vibration and those frequencies of you being in the building versus me being in the building. And I still want to get back to, I mean, people are asking us to do live investigations in their buildings again as a sort of promotional thing. And I love doing it and I want to do it, but it gets to the point where there aren't enough weekends, which is the problem. Like Burlington Prison is begging us to come in, and we're doing the open house there Saturday, July 17th. And maybe, we can go out to eat and then do a live where, I want to go in there by myself. I like for you to go in there by yourself. And I like the idea of testing that. You know what I mean? I don't think Tanya and Kenny are going to be around on the 17th when we do the open house at the prison. I've already mentioned this. We'll definitely be there. Jane Doherty will be there. It's from 12 to 4. You get to tour the prison, and lots of shit that's happened there with people dying and people being murdered and people being hanged. I would like the opportunity to walk around that prison floor to floor with just being on a live, having some equipment, stopping in different areas, turning on the spirit box, doing EVPs where I know no one is in that building but me. Everything you see and hear is whatever's there.
Happening in the prison.
And because again, I'm a guy, see how they react to me. She would never do it.
Don't say I would never do it.
Oh.
I'm not. Again, you have a misconception about me. I will do things, and I have done things. It's just that if it's dark, my butt ain't staying there. So if it's not dark as lights out, meaning if it's a dark spirit.
Wow. But I would like to, again, maybe we could talk to Janet about that at the prison and see if that's at all possible, because I do like the, again, experimentation value of one person alone in a place or with an object, just to see if it's any different for the spirit.
And again, we both know in the mind, and this is an experiment we do all the time in the mind, is when you have a male or a female, the spirits do act differently with the males and then the female. You'll get a different response, and it's pretty cool. And that happened when we were doing the mind this last time.
People that used to be alive. Like I said, when you do this long enough, you do question a lot more, and you do try different things. You don't try these things in somebody's home, of course. You would never put someone who's already fearful of whatever's going on there and say, okay, I'm going to stick you in a room with a blindfold and whatever, and have the thing come out at you, but these are experimental things that we do in different places just to see for ourselves and for the experience of the people what the interaction is like and what would happen in different scenarios. And like I said, we've got new things that we're using. We've got new methods that we always try at different times. And like I said, we're getting asked to do these live investigations on Facebook and YouTube and all these different places before you get into the fall. But it's really, really hard. But I also want to do it because I know you guys enjoy them, and you get to see these different buildings and get to see us running around, like crazy people, with whatever's happening. What do you from another area? When it comes to attachments, my experience is, in most cases, if you remove yourself from the area where you've been affected, like if you go outside into the fresh air and you just collect yourself and you reset your mind, that in most cases that's enough to kind of eventually you start feeling better. And I think, again, it's like being exposed to radiation or some kind of other energy, that prolonged exposure to the sun or whatever, is going to affect you.
We've never brought ever an attachment home or had something that, I mean, the only thing that we've ever had is maybe lingering effects. Like when you get a cold, you know, the lingering effect is a cough, you know, it's just like, and it goes away. It literally just dissipates over time, the effect, the ripple.
See, I don't necessarily agree with
I
that.
do.
Well,
I do.
that's your
I
opinion.
felt that
but-
way. That's the way
I
when something
feel-
affected me.
Okay, well, good.
That's me.
It's your opinion.
It is. Well, it's my experience.
And your opinion.
Yes.
Okay.
And why are you knocking me tonight?
I'm not. I'm just saying that's your opinion. I don't have the same opinion.
Okay.
Is that
That
so bad?
doesn't make me wrong.
I didn't say that. I said it's your opinion. Did I say it was right or
Yes.
wrong?
And I'm going to have another opinion real soon.
I mean, jeez. No, I think in my opinion, is that you whatever's there can't maintain the attachment. That's my opinion. And I know that there are people out there that will tell you there are people can be haunted and things can follow them from place to place. I think again, that's different people, different circumstances, different combinations of whatever caused that attachment. I'm saying for me personally, I don't think I could have that kind of attachment, that I feel like something may have been with me for 3 or 4 days and affected me emotionally and physically. But then by the 3rd, 4th, 5th day, I think the attachment was no longer there. But in one case, I actually needed help getting rid of that attachment. So I think, again, you try to remove yourself from whatever's affecting you if you can right away. Go outside, collect yourself, get some good, air.
Was the
Go-
attachment a curse, or was it
No,
like
no.
something that you feel had?
I think both cases, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then, if you go back in and you feel the same thing and it's worse, or you're the pain, the pressure, then you may have to think just not being in
Yeah.
that area or not going back there. I mean, that's probably the smart move, And then if you're home and you feel that lingering for 2, 3, 4 days, you do need to probably seek out some help in dealing with that, because in most cases it'll dissipate and it'll go away. But I've had it linger, and it's no fun when you feel like it is like an illness. You feel like something is affecting you. You've come down with something. Now all of a sudden you have a short fuse. You have a headache. You're nauseous.
Differently,
You can't buy energy if you want it. Your body is just tired.
That's when
and
we came back
drained.
from the Patterson, the art factory with Connie when we did that walkthrough, and for 3 days I couldn't get out of bed. 3 days I just could not function. I was so drained. And we stopped at the pizzeria to eat, and I couldn't eat. I was leaning on you. There was nothing left.
And again, that could have been to the overwhelming exposure,
Oh
of what you subjected yourself to.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's like I said, it's with the sun and it's with other things. And these people, that's why people who live in those environments, why they're affected so bad, because they're living with it. There's no getting away from it. It's with them. They sleep, they eat, whatever is there, and it's prolonged exposure. And if that energy is negative, that's going to have a bad effect. Getting chimes.
That's my phone.
That's her text message.
My daughter was sending me a message.
Yeah, there it is again.
Say. Sorry, guys. Hey, you can't control it.
No, you can't. Can't control it.
That's
Sorry,
life.
guys.
Life goes
Sorry,
on.
guys. No control whatsoever. So, I wanted to talk about, upcoming events again. Strauss Mansion, August 14th. There are 2 tickets left for that. 2. That's August 14th from 8 p.m. to midnight. If you want them, just send me an email that you want them. There are 2 available, and for August 14th. Again, Strauss Mansion, very big house near Sandy Hook. Lots of weird history there. Somebody did pass away on the 2nd floor. It was someone who was boarding there. Weird activity there. August 14th, that's available. August 28th, we'll be back at the Sterling Mine again. I haven't released that event yet. Another Sterling Mine. We had a great time last time. That place just gets weirder every time, pretty much. So
and you never know what you get there. It changes all the time, doesn't it?
Well, you just don't know.
Yeah.
So that's August 28th. Tickets will go on sale for that soon enough. And then, like I said, July 17th, we'll be at the Burlington Prison from 12 to 4. That's going to be a good time. And again, if you're around the area, if you've never seen it, I think you should come. I think you should hang out. I think you'll like it. But we're going to go on a tear of September and October events at a lot of different places. And you're going to have a chance to explore a lot of different buildings with us and try the different new equipment and the new experiments. And, I'm doing it. And again, we had a whole crop of new people the last time at the mine, and it was good because we feed off that energy and the excitement and the like, oh my God, like what the hell's going on here? Looks on their faces. So, again, you should come out for that. August 14th, Strauss Mansion, which is in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey, 8 to 12. That should be a good time. We haven't been there in a year and a half. So,
yeah.
And that building hasn't been investigated in probably 2 years. So that should be a lot of fun. We found that going back into these places after such a prolonged time has been even better, and stirred up a lot of whatever was there, So you can go on the New Jersey Paranormal website for at least event listings. I've got them up all the way, I think, up to September 11th. I know that the Creeper Gallery, the first one, sold out. That was August 6th, I believe, and Donna's supposed to release the second one this week or next week. So you'll have a chance to come there and hang out with us and do an investigation of certain objects. And, if I'm there, and I will be, it's going to be the best of the best.
The dark
I'm going to pull out the sensors. I'm going to pull out, if there's a Ouija board, I'm going to pull out that little doll that's a little... We haven't told you about the one doll that we investigated there that we, we filmed for something. But there's one doll there that has a story that you would not believe. You would not believe. And the evidence that we captured from this doll was like anything you'll ever see in your life as with an object. I mean, documentation, evidence, pure evidence. EVP, spirit box, you name it, this thing had it. And I would not want this thing in my home. No way, no how. No way. Not with the story
I
connected to
don't think she has it up for sale. It's like the curse box, right?
No, it's not the one.
Sale.
It's not the one with it. This is a different one. And we never talked about it. We never investigated it live. But this object, like the curse box, no way. I wouldn't have the curse box in my home. I wouldn't have the sensors in my home. I wouldn't have this doll in my home.
Oh, heck no.
No amount of money.
And it's a doll with remains. Cremains with it.
Yeah.
It's got cremains with it.
I forgot about that part.
Uh-huh.
The story, again, one day we'll be able to kind of share this with you. But the story behind this object is a movie. It's a movie, for sure. This thing is like horrible, the story behind it. I definitely want to. Creeper Gallery in September. Just need to get my plane tickets. I already have my hotel reserved. Oh, cool.
Dana. Oh, she's talking. Oh,
it'd be cool
yeah,
again. It'd be cool to meet you if you can come up there for that. The Creeper Gallery is cool in that, New Hope is a cool town to hang out, walk around. The restaurants are really, really good. The Havana, their burgers are like anything you freaking tasted before.
And the ice cream place.
And their onion rings are awesome. So you can hang out in town before and after, you know what I mean, this event. You want to go and have a couple of drinks or not, and get something to eat or whatever. New Hope is a really cool town. And there's the bridge where you walk across the water. It's just a cool town. And the Creeper Gallery makes it that much cooler. It's up on the road, or once you go over the bridge, you just keep going straight. It's on your left. and there's this store. You walk by and you know it because it ain't like anything else. And I said that to Donna the first time I met her, and I should play that interview again. It was our cable access show, and I said to her, you know, being in this town and walking around, you look at all the stores here, and there's galleries, and there's fancy restaurants, and there's clothing, and there's, you know, it's you know, people in that town have money. People that visit that town have money, and all of a sudden you walk by this building and you go, and people do when we're in there. You hear the people outside, or when you're, you know, you visit the place, people are like, "What in the hell is this? And why is it here?" And then they walk in and you see them go into the red room, and some of them don't last, and some of them write down that they get weird feelings. But the very first time I was with and I met Donna, you know, I said to her about us coming in to investigate. She didn't let any groups do that. And we talked on the phone and we got along really, really well. And that's been Donna and my relationship since that conversation. We just clicked. And she was like, all right, I'll give you a chance. And I'm like, it'll be cool. You know, you might like it. It'll be really cool. I said, let us come and interview you about the store, and then let us come and do an investigation. You'll like it. Oh, well, I've had other groups ask me or whatever. I'm like, just meet us and, you know, see for yourself. So we go there and we interview her. And again, it was just a click. Her and I just started joking with each other. We mess around like brother and sister.
Same.
She's like my older sister. She just busts my chops and I bust her chops. And we just clicked. And while I'm investigating her and she's interviewing her, and she's telling me about what goes on in the store, and you guys know me, I'm like, yeah, things fly off the shelves. Yeah, that item did this. Yeah, that item. And I'm like, okay, just kind of going like, yeah, whatever, you know. And as we're talking, there, at the time she had the cases of haunted objects in the main room. And we're talking, and a chain that she has keeps the cabinet closed and for people from opening it and stealing things. The chain flipped off of the top of the cabinet and went, I mean, and the thing was laying flat on the top. It had to have flipped off. And
it was cool because John was here, Donna and her partner were here, and I was
everything was in the shot.
Caught everything in that shot, and you could just see it. And you just see it, all of them just like.
And they really didn't react all that much. And I'm talking and doing the interview, and I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and I referenced it in the shot. I said, and they're like, yeah, it happens all the time. And I was like, it was like on cue, live. And that was like, holy crap, we got to get in here. And then we investigated it for the first time and filmed it. We didn't do it live. And we got some cool stuff in that red room and outside of the red room. And that was how it all started. Yeah. Donna loved it. We showed her what we had. And then here we are 2 years, whatever later. You know, we're the only group that goes in there and gets to play with all those objects and see what's what, you know. And again, to her credit, she doesn't sell them without us taking a look at them, and she gets to see.
Well, I like the fact
extent of the interaction.
The dark stuff she doesn't like, the cursed box. That's not for public, you know. I like that, and the fact that this doll that's pretty dark that she's not selling.
I was wondering what else there's a lot to do in and around there.
There's a lot.
Beautiful scenery. And September you'll even have a better.
And you're just there's New York City is not far from here where we have the expo. Believe it or not, a train ride, boom, right there.
Yeah, September it'll be cooler. The leaves, it'll be real nice.
There's a lot of things here.
So yeah, that's how we started with Donna and formed a great friendship. You know, and we're the only group that can go in there and do what we do. And she trusts us. I have a key to that building, as you guys can see. And that means a lot. I mean, again, you know, when we do these things and we meet people, even with, you know, you guys, it's more than just us being on a live and being in front of people and, you know, people, you know, following us and noticing us, and it's the whole thing. It's the community, you know, we've been able to form and some great friendships and meet some awesome people by doing this. So there's a lot of back and forth when it comes to this stuff. When the leaves start to change, it's beautiful.
It's very
It
beautiful
is
here.
very beautiful in that area because again, you have the bridge, you cross over into Jersey, into PA, really, really nice. So that's it for tonight. Maybe we'll come back Sunday and have another talk. And I know coming up.
4th of July Sunday.
Okay, we want the 4th of July. I know coming up Tuesday. That's the crowning jewel in the Christarian catalog. You want to talk about that one more time?
Madam Adam will be on and will tell us all about who he is, what he's about, and how he became a social media sensation with his tarot card readings. You definitely don't want to miss him. I was on the phone with him, and I absolutely just like everything this individual stands for and how he is. So I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised because this gentleman has flavor. He's definitely, John didn't like that word, but he has flavor, and you'll all understand what I mean if you tune in and you watch our interview. And he's also going to do a live group reading before the interview's over, and you don't want to miss it. Trust me.
And then the 13th of July, Shanley, the woman, Kelly from the Shanley, we'll show pictures of the building. We don't have any clips from us being in there, but we'll talk to her about her story and about the building. It really, really is interesting. She's a nice person, and the building's awesome. And it's not far from where we are. It's only a couple hours, and we'll definitely be going back in there at some point. So that's it, guys. August 14th, Strauss Mansion, 2 tickets left. If you want them, email NewJerseyParanormal@yahoo.com. And then after that, it's be announcing the Sterling Mine on August 28th.
It was nice meeting you too, Samantha.
Oh yeah, it's again
all of the ones that we got to meet that showed up to our event that we hadn't met before. It was absolutely awesome to put faces to the names.
All right, guys, we'll see you soon.
Have a good night. Stay safe. Be
Enjoy
healthy.
your 4th.